Hello, welcome back to Learn Economy. And in this video, we are going to look into the endogenous growth theory, an important topic which come under the arena of development economics. What is endogenous growth theory? This is considered to be a wing in economic theory, which will be dealing with the idea that economic growth is generated from within a system as a direct result of internal process. Okay. We can see that enhancement of a nation's human capital will lead to economic growth, and this will lead to development. Development, growth, etc., would happen as a result of new forms of technology and also efficient and effective means of production. These are the two indicators, or these are the two factors which will be leading to the economic growth or economic development as a result of, as argued by endogenous growth theory. We can understand this economic growth theory or endogenous growth theory in a complete sense or in its details. This theory is considered to be a wing in economic theory, which would be offering a fresh perspective on with that on the engines of economic growth. So it actually tells that a persistent rate of prosperity, it is something that is influenced by some internal process, and this would be as a result of improvement in human capital, innovation, investment capital, etc. So this internal process plays a very important role rather than external forces. External forces, we know that these are uncontrollable forces. These are not in our hand to control for. So this is considered to be a challenging view to the neoclassical economics or economists. The neoclassical economists were not in favor of these kinds of factors, but the endogenous growth theory identified a different set of factors which would be influencing the economic growth. Endogenous growth economists, or the people who popularized, or the people who favored, or the people who supported this particular growth thing or growth theory wing, they always believe that improvements in productivity, it could be something that would directly lead to faster innovation or and more investments in human capital. Or on the other hand, we could see that it is the investment in human capital and innovative processes that is something that will lead to improvements in productivity. And these people, or the people who support endogenous growth theory, they say that government and private sector institutions are very much important in order to nurture innovative initiatives, and this is something that will help in offering initiatives for individuals and business to be more creative. Research and development plays a very important role in the case of endogenous growth theory, and the funding and intellectual property rights, funding by the government, funding by the private people, funding by the public-private partnership, and all these things are very much important as far as endogenous growth theory is concerned. Knowledge-based economy, spillover effects, etc. These are very much important for generating returns from technology or improvement or investment in technology as per this endogenous growth theory. Influential knowledge-based factors, for example, telecommunications, software, high-tech industries, etc., are also playing some leading role in economic growth as per endogenous growth theory. Coming to the central tenets of this particular theory, it actually includes government policies. Government policies, we know that the government of a particular country, whether it is developed or underdeveloped or developing, whether whatever be the status of a particular country with respect to its development process, the government of that country would be spending a lot under different heads for the welfare of the people, right? So this is something that will lead to the economic growth and economic development. And more intense competition in markets are also very much important for an economy to grow. If there is competition in the market, that means that the people will be having more choices to choose from. So this will be helping to stimulate product and also innovation. This will help in increase in aggregate demand as well. There are increasing returns to scale as a result of capital investment, infrastructure development, investment in education, health, telecommunication, etc. Whenever the government fails to make investment in these sector, or whenever the government fails to make adequate investment in all these kinds of sectors, it is the private sector that will be coming forward and make investment, which will be helping in more improvement in technological aspects, which will lead to technological progress, and ultimately it will lead to development. The protection of property rights and patents are also very much important for development to happen. As far as this particular theory is concerned, investment in human capital is also a vital tool that lead to that lead to development as per the endogenous growth theory. Government policies, that is something which is considered to encourage an entrepreneurship, because if the government is able to make some policies that will lead to promotion of entrepreneurship, if the government is able to give some subsidies and all to new entrepreneurs, all this will lead to uh, creation of new enterprises in the economy, which will lead to job creation, investment, innovation, new products, new markets, and also increase in aggregate demand. Coming to the history of endogenous growth theory, we can see that this is a theory that emerged in the 1980s, and till then it was the neoclassical growth theory that was dominating. And after the arrival of endogenous growth theory in the 1980s, it questioned how the gaps in wealth between developed and underdeveloped countries could persist if investment in physical capital like infrastructure subject is something which is subject to diminishing returns. Paul Romer, who is considered to be a very important contributor here, he put forward the argument that technological change is not just an exogenous byproduct of independent scientific developments. As per him, government policies, including investment in research and development and intellectual property rights, would help in fostering innovation, and this would act as a fuel to persist, to make economic growth to persist. Or this is something that will lead to persistent economic growth. If you have economic growth, or if you have economic growth in a particular country, that is good. But if you could sustain that economic growth, that is considered to be excellent. Rama previously complained that his findings hadn't been taken seriously enough, because while Rama was developing his ideas, it was the neoclassical growth model that was leading the world. But when Rama could develop and establish his ideas, it began to question the already existing neoclassical model of economic growth. And a series of Nobel, Rama was he was awarded the 2018 Nobel Prize in Economics for making studies on long-term economic growth and its relationship with technological innovation. But that doesn't mean that the endogenous growth theory, even though it could criticize the already existing neoclassical growth model, that doesn't mean that this particular theory, the endogenous growth theory, is free from criticism. This theory has been widely criticized by many economists. It has been told that this theory has made many unrealistic assumptions based on some aspects which cannot be measured accurately. So that's all for today. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more videos, and be a part of my Telegram channel and Telegram group to discuss your doubts. I'll be providing the links of these in my description box, which is under the video. You can be there. That's it for today. Thank you.